Good morning. Welcome back to Living in Wichita, Kansas. So today, I don't do these market updates all the time anymore. I might get back to them a little bit more often, but it does show the statistics of the housing market. We've seen some interesting stuff over in Wichita, Kansas. We're just in an interesting place the beginning of this year. So, yeah, I might get back to doing a couple more of these this year. And so, with that said, let's jump over to the South Central Kansas MLS statistics and let's check it out. So, okay. Again, this is January 2005, as you can see. So here's just the big screen recap. We got some interesting stuff going on, and then we'll get down to the typical nitty gritty of the other pages. So yeah, down in closed listings, 392. But up in active listings. So we are definitely coming back in Wichita, Kansas. Again, I have the Sedgwick County report. I have all the other reports as well, the other counties, Butler, Sumner, et cetera, et cetera. And our MLS, I don't think I've ever mentioned this yet, but our MLS has grown, and we've included some of the Reno County and north towards Salina, toward the upper part of Kansas, which we didn't have in our MLS before. So, yeah, got a bunch of new counties in there to look at. Obviously, a lot smaller, so won't really typically look at them. I typically look at Sedgwick County because it's the most reflective, being that it's the biggest county. All right, well, so let's back to say down. We're up 35%. That's huge, to 1,220 active listings. We've got up 40%, huge. So 2 months supply. It's seeming slow. There's going to be one figure I'm going to show you here shortly, which really surprised me. And you'll notice it a little bit more as we go down to the individual charts, because then you're looking at each month in comparison to the year. This just kind of shows you one little stat, not in comparison to each month previously, each year previously. So we'll get to that here shortly. But that's huge. 2 months supply. New listings up 25%. That's 667. Interesting. Contracts written are up. Although we are getting into February toward March. I'm filming this on February 17th, 2025, to give you the idea. We've got sales volume is up 6%ish. Median. Now, this is what really shocked me. And you'll see as we scroll down to the actual chart, this one is the one that's huge. 239. It increased 20%, the median sale price for Sedgwick County, to 239,950. So that was because I think last year, you'll see, was 200,000. So even though it seems like it's slower right now, I mean, that's a huge jump for this time frame, for January at least. I have a feeling we'll even out, the next so many months. But yeah, that was a huge jump for January. Now, this is still a large number, 22 median days on market. That's pretty high. It's up 10%. It's always a little bit more during this year, but yeah, the end of last year, just the number started going up on days on market. Things just sitting a lot longer. That's what's so interesting, is things are sitting a lot longer, but yet the pricing went up. Is it because everyone's going after the same exact remodeled house? Um, you know, to be determined. 100% of sale price, so things are still selling at 100%. I know the last couple weeks for me, there was a couple multiple offers again. I believe I mentioned it. No, that was my email just to local clients. But the one I knew was going to go way over price. It was a remodeled home. It was listed really low. So yes, multiple offers on that one. And there was another multiple offer one as well. So again, not super reflective of the market, just a couple things that were in my with my buyers over the last couple weeks. And then sale price, okay, and then median active list price. All right, so let's kind of go down. I like to kind of stick to the. All right, here is where we see one. So here's year to date. So you see 23, 24, 25. Of course, we're in the beginning of the year, so the year to date is going to look exactly the same as the current month, since this is January stats. Again, just the numbers I gave you, 392 up from 402 last year. So down just a little bit, but huge jump in the active listings, as you can see from last year, even more so from 2023. Look at that. So you're seeing 745 to 902 to 1222. And I know it's not showing up on StreamYard super well, my cursor. So, but we're on the active listing row. And then month supply, even that's gone up from 1.2 to 1.5 to 2.1, which is just great news. You know, you definitely want more options to choose from when you're looking for a house. So hoping not to do the multiple offers where you can't ask for contingencies, can't ask for repairs, stuff like that. So that's going in a good direction. And this is going to be an interesting year just with all the political stuff going on. I hear various things and everything's changing so drastically each week we're around. So this year's a hard prediction for that one. They're saying maybe the Fed's not going to reduce rates all year. I've heard maybe 2, but at the same time, I'm guessing maybe not. So just kind of get used to the numbers where they're at for the whole year right now. That's what I would do. That's what I would, recommend paying attention to. So new listings, 608, 532 to 667. Contracts written, about the same. Sales volumes definitely gone up. Look at that, from 84, I believe it's million, to 95 to 101. So prices, of course, have gone up consistently here in Wichita for the last couple of years as well. So let's scroll down a little bit. I always like to go down to the median price. So yeah, here's where I wanted to show you this sale price, 190,200. Not too far apart, just with keeping the typical. Okay, it's been increasing, but this number is huge. Now, do I think that's going to continue for the next several months? No, I think it's gonna. But for some reason, there was a huge jump from January of last year to January of this year in pricing. So that's huge, $40,000. And we're going to scroll down and look at another chart that shows, this median sale price. Just look at all prior years as well. So this is a little bit of an anomaly, not typical. Is it going to continue this? Like I said, I feel like it's going to just kind of come back to somewhat around the normal pricing for February, March, and April. And then days on market. Now, this is the other really big number. 8 days on market, back when things were going super lickety split quickly. Multiple offers, back not being able to ask for stuff, to 20 days. And again, January's slower, but these numbers are really, really slow, 20 to 22. So that's why this is just an interesting little, lot of days on the market, and yet 40,000 up in median price. Very interesting. So we'll keep an eye on that. Percent of list, so still selling at list price and percent. So, okay, so let's continue down. And this is just some of the same numbers, all in a different format. And again, since it's year to date, since we're January, not much to look at there. And just reading the right side here. Let's just saying the same stuff. History of closed listings. 2020, when the 2s and 3%, and everyone started buying a house, and so we're definitely down below. Really, for this whole chart, we're still down below, lower. Like 2023 and 2024, just really, really low in home sales. Hopefully we start to see that changing. And closed listings by month, 392. That's about, kind of typical. Closed listings by price range. I always like to look. There's still 3 were sold in the $1 million and up range. 5 in the 750 to 995, and then 19 though in the 500 to 750,000. And let's see, the largest one would be to 300 to 400,000, because that really is with the next one. Well, then 200 to 300, 200 to 250. But the largest, yeah, so that's like right 17%. It looks like the highest percentage is 300 to $400,000. And let's go to, here's of course my favorite chart, median price. So this is kind of what I wanted to show you. So you're seeing the last year and the year before, and then look at this blue, like it's way up there for January. So not normal for the typical. And again, just an odd January to begin with. I mean, we didn't have the presidential election. So, of course that didn't kick until January 20th. So, but again, this is just saying something. So we'll just kind of watch it to see how it continues on, which is interesting because they didn't change the interest rates. Nothing nothing moved after 3, I guess, reductions, and then all of a sudden, no, let's not move it. That's interesting. So, but yeah, this one, not 190, 200, 240. So we'll watch this. Like, I can imagine that, these, my guess is that these are going to go more toward normal. If not, I mean, the expectations of the experts here in Wichita at the Wichita State University, the real estate department, they're expecting it still to go up, not as much. But so yeah, this, again, they're looking at the whole year, not just a January. So these could be like interesting fluctuations based on other criteria that's going on in the market at the time. But they're saying it's still going to keep increasing as we go through the year. I mean, like, let's go look. 190 to 200 went up. 220 to 230 went up 10K. 29 to 39 up 10K. Up a good amount. 37 down to 30 to 31. Went up a little bit. Went up about 7K. Went up almost 20K, 17K. This one flat. This one up a little bit, 20K-ish, 20, 30, 40, 30K, and up. So as you can see, it's still for the most part going up. So this is a huge jump. Again, I don't expect this to continue. I just think there's some anomaly going on for there. So anyways, but yeah, that was when I was first looking at this data. Very interesting. So again, we'll again, I'm gonna plan to kind of do some more of this year, going back to the market information, even though it's quite boring for those that do like to monitor it. Go through it, and if anybody ever wants just this sheet sent to them. But this is the other one I was talking about early on in the beginning, the median days on market. This is the year, of course, multiple offers. It was like just we'd write 10 offers and maybe get one of them. I mean, it worked hard for the money for sure. And then, get slower during November, December. And then last year started getting slower during August. So much days on market kept increasing. So yeah, and I was shocked. Like when you look at January of last year, 20, that was from 13 to 20. That was like, whoa, what's going on? And then of course, like I said, it goes back down to 9, 6. So it'll start getting back tracking. That's again, what I'm kind of predicting for the median price point that we looked at. And then here though, still more days on market, 2022. So again, with just the chaos of what's going on in the USA, the government, obviously a lot of people are losing jobs from the federal government. So at least in those towns, there was a funny, I probably shouldn't say this, but a funny thing where what you saw in DC, where all of a sudden everyone's listing their homes again based on Doge and what's going on with the Department of Efficiency and what they're finding out. But so that a lot of people are posting, hey, check out all the homes going for sale in the DC area. So again, we're Wichita, Kansas. So ours will, we'll see how it goes, but not be super affected like some of the bigger cities. We'll see what kind of layoffs we might have here from a government standpoint. But again, that's outside of DC and tons of people putting their houses on the market, which makes sense. Here, again, just the the volatility going on. I feel like there's some holding off, but it may be, just normal. I'm expecting here, just we don't get as affected as much in Wichita, Kansas. So let's continue on. This is active listings. So median list price for the active listings that were on in January. Again, it was up, and you went from, check this out, 324 went down to 295, which is interesting because you saw the median close price went up 40K. This one's going down about 30K. With stuff sitting on the market as long as it's been. So this is where you need to look at price point categories. But so median list price has gone down from 9% change from 324 to 295, while the active listings have gone up. Again, we know people are still holding on to their 2 and 3%, which is why the last 2 years have been so low in home sales. People just not wanting to give up their really low mortgages. And then what's going to be interesting that I'll be following this and mentioning it, but is the government going to get rid of property taxes? That will be interesting to watch. And taxes in general. As I'm going to my tax person on Wednesday, I was just finishing up my stuff. So, going on Wednesday to go get my taxes done. Like to get that off my plate usually as soon as possible, so I can just focus on real estate. So history of active listings obviously went down because we weren't building as much for a 10-year gap. Then they down 2020. And then started, of course, increasing when they started building more so they can offer more, because it was so difficult to get a house during that period. And active listings. Again, this is the part, it's a little bit similar to that other chart I showed you from the days on market. Obviously, look at how many few houses there are for sale here. So everything sold really quickly, where now we're getting in the 1,200. We started doing pretty good, like middle of last year, in the 1,200s. 13, it kept growing. So very grateful for that. So people can buy, move to bigger homes, downsize, whatnot. And that just shows you here in January, the active listings, again, kind of like the price increase of January. It kind of follows along that one, but this is just active listings, a bunch up there, which is great to see. And again, interest rates are around the 7, a little below. I think the last conventional one I saw was at 6.8 here. Again, it depends what loan program. Conventional is going to be higher. FHA, VA is going to usually be lower, but just looking across the board, 7% is around where the interest rates have been. Active listings by price range. So you do have 18 and the $1 million and up, in case anyone's wanting $1 million and up house, but there are 18. And where's the highest one? Let's go check. So yeah, 300,000 to 400,000 price range is showing the highest at 20%, 251 houses in that price range. 250 to 300 is 204. And of course, the hardest one to get is 2 to 250. You end up with multiple offers in that area a lot. And all price ranges for the ones that are in that perfect condition, maybe perfect location. Median price range, and this is for the listings. So you can see, unlike the closed ones, this is specifically for listings. It's going down. So you're seeing in the 330s here, 324, and this could be a lot of new builds possibly. So I would believe some new builds you can get some good deals right now on those if you are in the market for a new build. But yeah, 336 and that held up until about October of last year. November, December started hitting the twos. Look at that. In 2023, the new builds were over 300. Again, with the interest rates, you're seeing that come down a little bit. Average, so median days on market for active listings. So that's down compared to last January. For the active listings, a little bit less on the market. And let's see what else here. It starts getting in the weeds down here. So I tend to like to wrap it up. Come on. History of month supply. But again, we're talking active listings. Now, these are new listings. So new listings are up 532 to 667. And the median list price for new listings, 240,000 up to 246,000-ish. New listings by month, again, were up in January, which is good. We want more listings. We still want more listings. So it seems like it's kind of like a buyer's, again, depending on price point, the 200 range is getting really a lot tighter just from price point, from appreciation. But except for that January number, which showed prices increasing, I still see a lot of houses sitting on the market. Again, that could be, price dependent. So lots of variables. I am starting to see more houses, of course, come on the market just with the emails that come to me that I have my buyers, just again, being that we're at the end of February going into March, which is really the season kicks in about another weekish or so. I think Parade of Homes, I think that should be April. So we're still a month away, month and a week or two. So about 6 weeks away from that, from the April. The home show just happened at Century 2. So we just passed that. Let's go median price for this is new listings that just came on. This is for new listings that just came on the market in January, just to clarify. So in January, look, it's up in the last 2 years. And then again, I love this chart here because it just shows all the details of what's really going on. You can kind of get into the nitty gritty. But 246. So yeah, starting off good and strong for this year. So, and again, I think people have kind of realized that hey, if they're looking to buy or sell a house this year, it's just going to be, prices are still down. I've had like one buyer that's been looking to sell for several years at this point. And just because it was past the really lucrative period. And so, and we talk about this a lot of times in our sales meetings where we're not, you can't price it to where it was all those years ago. Prices have come down considerably. And not even down in that case. I'm just thinking of that specific example. He was wanting to price it higher than it was actually what the comparables were showing it was. So it's almost back to the same part from the last comparables that I've had. But for this year though, yeah, interest rates are probably going to remain somewhat unchanged for the year. So if you're ready to buy or sell, I think most people understand it's going to be in the sixes, which is a normal, high sixes, which is a normal interest rate. It's not, hey, it's like not the 18s that we always talk about from, was it the 80s and 11s and 12s and stuff like that. This is just a normal one. So contracts written. So these are just contracts that were written in January. And 447 for, pretty flat-ish sale price, kind of around the same. from last year. I mean, up a little bit. Now, whether it sells at that, it's a whole nother story. Oh, actually, this is contracts written. So I always have to remember what page I'm on in this report. So contracts written, yeah, it's just around around the same part, a little lower than last year, but really, the last 2 years have really followed pretty in line with each other. A little bit higher here for March for contracts written, so that's interesting. If you look at that, so that again, if you're looking to sell, March is a good time to get the house ready to on the market by, because look at that, the contract's written, the buyers are out, they're gung-ho and that was 2024, so that was last year. And yeah, we'll watch what happens this year. But yeah, they kind of fall in line. I mean, obviously the big season's all here. You got August, and then it kind of drops in September back to school. Contracts written by price range. So we had 2 that were written in the $1 million zone, and then you had a couple at the 16. So that's 250 to 300 and 300 to 400. So the biggest gap, 250 to 400 was the 16%, and then 2 to 250. Again, just the crunch of it. So a little tougher in this area. So if it's that perfect house, can be multiple offers again, especially in the 200 range. But yeah, a couple $1 million ones. So some people, and then let's go down to median price. And this is for contracts written. Median price, okay, 241. So that's a huge difference from 23 to 24 for January, and like we're looking in line for 2024. So for the median price, again, we saw 239 was the median close price, and so this would be just median contracts written that were written in January specifically. And let's check out last year. So 220, 240, 240, 250, 260, 40s, 50, and then goes down. So contracts written, days on market, median was 20. So it's quite high because you got this blue check mark, which is way above the other years. So houses been staying on the market for quite a while. Again, it shoots down like as right now in this particular month, it should be going down significantly with, March being the big beginning of the season for real estate. And let's check out pending 561 to 587. So it's up. Median prices up, days on market up, still 100% of list price. So you're not really getting super good deals. But again, that's a case-by-case basis. Just talk to your agent when you're putting an offer in. History of pending contracts, still down significantly. But January, kind of trying to compare it to another January. Pending contracts, and we're getting closer to the end here. Whoops. Pending contracts, 587. Price range, pending contracts, four of them in the $1 million range. That's good to see. And then 106, 18%. 250 to 400,000, just like we were saying, is kind of the same thing for January. Pending contracts, median price is at 254, so a little bit higher than the last 2 years. So it just goes with the appreciation being a bit higher as well. So they're selling at that point too. So gotta love that about Wichita is we definitely keep somewhat stable. Of course, I say that, and then we see like median days on market are 15. Again, this is winter time, you know, that are fall and then winter. So there you have it. Let me, so yeah, that's kind of it in not quite a nutshell. Pretty going over all the specifics. If you would like any of these reports, give me a holler. I can send them to you for any of the counties that we have. So again, thanks for watching. I'll do this a little bit more this year. It gives some great data. It's the data that we have to work with. And yeah, I'm curious to see what happens this year because I got a feeling it's going to start off to quite a wild ride to begin with. So kind of curious to see how it continues and unfolds. So anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you, and have a great day.